Sega Forever. We now know exactly what it is that Sega's been teasing the last week or two. They've been sending out to different content creators little audio cassette tapes with different songs from classic Sega games. And that's it. Just as like a tease, and then with the hashtag Sega Forever. Well, I want to say they announced it on Wednesday, exactly what Sega Forever was this past week. And what they're going to do, Sega Forever is a plan to release as much of their back catalog as they can, games from every era. We're talking all the way from the SG-1000, which was a Japan-only system, all the way up through the Dreamcast. And making those games available on iOS and Android for free. It's just going to play like any ad game. You will be able to have save states, and you will, with some limitations, and we'll get into that. And you'll just be able to play all these games for free if you want to. If you want to get rid of the ads, you just pay $2, gets rid of the ads, and then you can save states locally to your device. Otherwise, if you're just using the ad version of the game, then you can only save to the cloud. You'll have to have an internet connection to save and load your states. $2, that's really not bad. I don't have, so to test this out, I went ahead and I downloaded Sonic 1 onto an iPhone just to see how it did. You're actually getting, at least with the Sonic games, you're getting the Christian Whitehead version of the game, which is like it basically, it's not just the Sega Genesis ROM running in an emulator. It was completely redone, plays, takes up the full screen. They added a little bit, the game runs a little bit better now. And you're getting this for free, or $2 if you want to. And now I haven't tested out the other ones. I want to say that the games that launched here Thursday, aside from Sonic 1, we've also got Phantasy Star 2, Kid Chameleon, Altered Beast, and Comic Zone, along with Sonic CD. So you've got 5 Sega Genesis / Mega Drive games, along with 1 Sega CD game. What do you think of this? Just as a service that Sega's launching.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, like, realistically, no one's going to buy these games that I can think of. No one's going to be like, oh, sweet, Sega games that are like 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I'll buy that. So I think, like, putting them free on the app stores is like, that's cool.
And I think it's worth it. And here's what I really like about it. You can play the entire game for free. And if it turns out you really like it, give them $2. $2 is not bad for a Genesis game or even a Dreamcast game. And what they'll be doing is, so the service will be starting with, or it has started with 6 games available. Every 2 weeks, they will be releasing 1 game. I thought it was going to be more at first, which would have been really great. I thought it was the opposite of that. I thought it was going to be like 2 games every week, but no, 1 game every 2 weeks. That's not bad. It's a lot better than the Virtual Console on Nintendo. Anything, because it's very rare and far between that you actually get those releases with Nintendo. So if they keep this up, if they do release one every week, it'll be good. The one thing that I do have to say, and I tried this on both Android and iOS App Store, they're not easy to find. Like if you know a specific game is out, you can find it. But if you just type in Sega Forever, like I thought it was gonna be like an actual app that you would download. It's not. It's just they're just releasing their games onto the platform, and if they're already there, like for instance, if you type in Sonic the Hedgehog, you'll get Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2. Well, 2 is still $3. There's no free version of it. But when they eventually release it, it'll show up as free. Just like Sonic 1 now shows as free with an in-app game purchase, which is $2 to get the whole thing. And just some $2 for a Dreamcast game, that's crazy. Now if you're familiar with like the retro market and especially retro Sega games, you'll know that the hardest platform to emulate would be the Sega Saturn, just because of how they designed it. The team behind this at Sega said that they hope to get those games running in the service as soon as 1 to 2 years from now, which is not bad. I mean, we've got plenty of games to be released during that time frame. I mean, Sega in its heyday, it was producing just as many games as Nintendo was. So, and this is going to this is also going to include Sega Master games, Game Gear games, dare I say it, 32X games, if you cared about that at all. One big thing that is a bit of a concern is, of course, licensing. There were some really good Disney games on Sega platforms, Ninja Turtles games. It would be nice if these companies could work out a deal where they didn't have to just buy a license to sell these games again. It would be nice if they could just say, hey, you get 30% of all the game sales without lifting a finger. Just let them sell the game and say, here's your cut. I wish things could be that simple, but they're never that simple, especially when Disney's involved. Everything has to go through their team of lawyers before it gets approved. But with and also not only do you get pretty good I want to say touchscreen controls. It's still not ideal for me, but every single game is supposed to have gamepad support. So if you've got like a Bluetooth controller that you can hook up to your phone, have at it. It'll work in the ad-free or free version. So, will you look into some of these games, considering they're free?
Maybe. I have been looking for... It gets really boring just sitting in the front of a mechanic/gas station.
Right.
So, I have been looking for some new forms of entertainment. So, I might get Sonic 1.
I wish they would hurry up and release Sonic 3 and also Sonic and Knuckles. But apparently there's the reason why they haven't released that on mobile because of music rights issues. So apparently it was confirmed that Michael Jackson did actually help with the music. And long story short, obviously, Sega wanted to cut ties with Michael Jackson because in the early to mid 90s there was the issue with the child abuse cases that were coming to light, and Sega wanted the team that was working on the music to basically replace all of his music. For the most part they didn't. They just left it intact there. One really clear example is the Sonic 3 end credit song. Listen to that and then listen to Michael Jackson's Stranger in Moscow. Pretty much the same thing. So that's apparently what's holding up the mobile version of those two games, but I really wish they would do it because they've been releasing that game on the Sonic Mega Collection, Sonic Classics Collection for DS. So I don't think it's completely beyond the realm of possibility to do that. But it's the one game I'm hoping for, Sega. The one game.